tech. It's part of every aspect of our lives, including at home with our families. New year, and sorry, maybe you're thinking, okay, what do we do? We got a lot of tech in our house. I'm thinking this. What do we do? Is there something called a digital reboot? Great to have Mohit Rajhans back on the show, because when anything tech, we turn to Mohit and we're just like, help us with this. What do we do here? Because so let me give you a scenario. So there's now 3 iPads for each child.
Yeah.
And before it was rotated around where they had, like, there was a little time limit and they had to share it. And now they all have them. What's a digital reboot as a parent? What are we doing here? How do we handle this properly?
Well, first we have to acknowledge that our connected culture is completely changing. And so like you said, as our kids start to grow older, they're not just looking at screens to play games and do things. They're talking to their family members and friends. And if at school they don't have a real message about what digital technology, what's good for them, what's bad for them, what they should be doing, what doom scrolling is, they don't have that information. And if at home we're not having the questions and answers and understanding how they're changing and needs are changing, then we're doing both of us a disservice.
What's doom scrolling?
Doom scrolling, for anyone who doesn't understand, is the countless amount of time that we spend on social media apps just looking for some form of connection. And that's exactly where we are with this digital reboot. We have all these connection points, whether it's through our phones and our screens and our work, and now we have to stop and say, what does it cost, what changes are happening, and what concerns are real in people's lives.
Okay, how can it help us find more time? Like, what are we doing? What are the steps that we're doing here, Mohit?
Okay, so the first thing we have to remember is that we have to recreate our boundaries around us about what we consider our time, family time, and screen time. So you said the iPads, for example.
Yeah.
In many cases, our ages are so that we use the iPad to pacify our kids. But our kids don't necessarily understand what the difference is between the pacification and what they can do and they can't do. They don't think it's 6 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock, etc. Our rules, for example, in our house would be no bed, right? No, not in the bedroom. Making sure the connectivity stops at dinner time as well. Yeah. There isn't a sense of urgency associated with having to respond to things. Instilling that in our kids is part of this reboot, because otherwise we let them go with the social anxiety associated with notifications, not participating in the group chats with the teams, etc. All of that is part of the thinking we have to change in the way we talk.
So how can we use it to enhance the relationship with family members?
Yeah, well, so that's a very interesting thing. For the longest time, we used to say to kids, stay off of social media because of doom scrolling and stuff. But many grandparents only use social media to stay in touch with people. Many people only use things like FaceTime and stuff to stay connected. I think the other part of this is at school, people use Google Classroom. And as part of team, people use TeamSnap. How do kids graduate into that world if we're not talking about it? The other part of this reboot that's true, and which I've learned the hard way, is that we're spending so much money on some of these digital tools and some of these apps and stuff. Parents need to take a little bit of a stock right now and understand where some of these charges are going.
Yeah, and what about improving, so productivity, improving focus. These are positives that we can use the tech for, right?
Definitely. Some of the newer gadgets are instilling artificial intelligence within some of, and so you're going to see tutors on gadgets now. You're going to see, like I said, Google Classroom is going to have the ability for people to have personalized learning. All of this is part of the conversations we need to continue to have, because Tim, I think you and I both know when we saw social media, et cetera, become a really big thing, we kind of just let it be something. And then there became cyberbullying and cyber crimes and all these things. We can't do that right now when it comes to digital technology. There's way too many demographics online at the same time.
Okay, we just under a minute. Overcoming challenges when we're facing them. So is it like we put this in place at the beginning of the year, we're going to do this, and then falling off of it? That's obviously a challenge that anybody's going to come across.
Well, change is constant, and so the rules are going to continually change as technology continues to improve, and there's going to be hiccups in the process. What we can't do is assume that everybody's going to learn in silos. If we don't have the conversations at the dinner table about how digital technology is changing our worlds, then we're letting our kids go to a place that it's not really safe. The other part of this is we have to reskill.
You wrote about this, a digital reboot for the connected family. You can is available. The audio version is available for free at Mohit's website, thinksmart.ca. Thinksstart.ca. There we go. Woo-hoo! And tracking passwords, that's another thing. That's a whole other segment, Mohit.
The path.